Honda. At the Model Clearout event, it's the best time to team up with a Honda you'll love.
The Houston Astros going for their 100th win. They have 99 wins. They won 101 last year. And A.J. Hinch and the Astros have their sights set on going back-to-back as World Series champions. Take a look at what they've done in September. They have the best record in baseball. 17-4, better than the Rays, better than the Dodgers, and they are certainly peaking at the right time.
Yeah, they did the same thing last year. They finished 15-4 last year on their way to the World Series championship. They're looking for 100 wins for the second consecutive season, third in franchise history, and they've had 200 wins since the start of last season. That's the most in the major leagues. They have been a really good team for 2 straight years, and they're really building for the month of October.
Houston won the game last night 5-3. The Blue Jays actually out-hit them 11-10, but took the loss in game 1. Here's the lineup for the Astros. Springer, Altuve, Bregman, and then Marwin Gonzalez, their super utility players. Average is down a bit, but over his last 9 games, like the team, he's gotten hot. 355 average, and Josh Reddick. Boy, look what he's done against the Blue Jays. That's the highest slugging percentage all time against the Blue Jays, .616. And he has done some damage against him. He had a home run in last night's game.
A couple of changes for him. Jose Altuve will DH tonight. He is not going to be on the carpet tonight, so they're moving that super utility man around Marvin Gonzalez. Sam Gaviglio, once he is ready, is going to take the field as the Blue Jays trying to get back in the win column after last night.
Sam Gaviglio will make the start as he has had a good season. He didn't join the Blue Jays until May, and you look at his record, 24 games this season. He's pitched well for them.
23rd start of the season. That's the second most on the Blue Jays this year. His record's 3-8 with a .518 earned run average. His first start against the Astros. He has made 2 career starts against Houston, both of them coming last year when he was a member with the Seattle Mariners. He has pitched much better here at home. His ERA here is 3.26 in those 13 games, 11 of them starts. There's something about this field that he really enjoys and really likes, and he's going to have to be good tonight because he's facing one of the best teams, one of the best offensive teams in all of baseball. Very balanced Houston Astros.
A lot of the youngsters in the lineup tonight for the Blue Jays. Dwight Smith Jr.'s in left, Jonathan Davis in center, Billy McKinney in right, and Richard Urena continues to get opportunities at second base.
This is his 11th start at second base. He's also played third base. He's also played some shortstop, but he's been in 6 straight games, 4 straight starts at second base, as the Blue Jays are taking a very long look at Richard Urena and what he can do offensively and defensively. He came up with a big base hit to get that tying run to the plate in the 9th inning last night. He got that hit off of Roberto Osuna.
The Blue Jays in the offseason will have a lot of tough decisions to make as far as filling out their 40-man roster. So they want to take as long a look as they can at some of these players that have joined them in September. The Blue Jays have 39 of their 40-man roster here with them as we speak. George Springer, he didn't waste any time getting started last night. He hit the first pitch of the ball game for a double, came around to score the first run. That was off Marco Estrada. Springer on the night, that was the only hit. Finished up 1 for 5. Here's Gaviglio's first pitch, and Springer took a mighty cut.
They haven't dug a hole yet, just in that plate area in the batter's box over there where you can get your toe hole. So he is grip it, rip it, and he's going to slip and fall because they haven't dug a little hole in there. Tell you what, he doesn't get cheated.
Danny Jansen slides to the inside, and they miss. 1-1 now. Springer for the season batting .265. Had a hand injury that knocked him onto the disabled list for a while. Terrific leadoff man.
Yeah, more and more teams, when they've got a power hitter and a guy with a good on-base percentage, they're putting him in that leadoff spot and getting those extra at-bats.
Ground ball up to middle for a base hit. So as he did last night, Springer gets a base hit in his first at-bat.
When Sam is on, he'll get his share of ground balls. This one out over the plate. Watch the two-seamer come back over the plate. He gets his ground ball, but unfortunately it's right back through the middle for a base hit.
Jose Altuve, as Pat mentioned, is the DH tonight. Altuve batting .317, third highest average in the American League. Mookie Betts leads the American League in hitting. Betts hitting .343, then J.D. Martinez for the Red Sox .328, and then Altuve.
Altuve had a clutch hit for him last night to get him an insurance run in the 9th inning. Our RBI hit the center field that drove in a big run. Then he got picked off at first base.
Ooh, high throw. Tellez makes a grab on that high throw from Gaviglio. Houston, a well-balanced offense. They'll steal some bases. They go first to third on base hits. They hit some home runs. Offensively, they've had a down season compared to what they did a year ago.
No, they just crushed everybody offensively last year. And they are missing one of their big bats right now. Carlos Correa still not ready. He was out today taking batting practice, and I'm sure that was a good sign for the Astros. He looked good to me.
Yeah, he was hitting the ball to all fields and looked like he was free and easy with the swing. He's been dealing with some back issues. They need his bat. They need him to get into some games before the end of the season. Altuve takes one downstairs. 2 balls and a strike to the DH. A.J. Hinch has been under the weather. He spent most of the day yesterday lying on his couch in his office and kept the door shut, trying to make sure he doesn't spread that around the clubhouse. There goes the runner. Hit and run is on, and Altuve fouls it out.
Another concentrated effort right there by Altuve to hit that hole on the right side. He really slowed his swing down. Number 1, to make sure he made contact. Number 2, to maybe guide that ball to right field. He's got a huge hole on the right side to shoot for. Look at Urania, the second baseman, playing up the middle in the pull area and for double play depth. He can handle the bat, Altuve.
He's a 3-time batting champ. Danny Jansen flashing the signs for Gaviglio. Altuve now 28 years old. Springer not running. Another foul back. Altuve won the batting title in 2014, his first batting title, and he won another in 16 and backed that up with his 3rd title in 2017. Blue Jays, they're just like the rest of the league. They can't get him out.
Yeah, it's not the Blue Jays. He does this against everybody. Will take his walks. You can strike him out at times, but he's got power too.
Two balls and 2 strikes. George Springer at first, the leadoff single. Broken back to Gaviglio. He looked at second and had a shot at it. Looked like they had a shot at getting that lead runner, but Gaviglio took the safe route and went to first to retire Altuve.
Did he ever? He had a lot of time, I thought, when he caught the ball. Springer was only about halfway there to second base. Watch the runner. Secondary lead. He's not going. It's a one hopper right to him.
Yeah,
Plenty
he's
of
got
room.
plenty of time.
But he says, you know what? I better get the safe out over at first base. But again, Springer was only about halfway as that bat explodes in the hands of Altuve.
So 1 out, man in scoring position for Alex Bregman. Bregman has reached base in 52 consecutive road games. He's a big reason why the Astros have the best road record in baseball. They're 53-22 on the road.
Got an outside chance of tying the record.
The all-time record for road wins is 59 by the 2001 Seattle Mariners. And the Astros have enough games to tie it. 2 more games here, including this one, and 4 down in Tampa Bay. Baltimore. Excuse me.
In Baltimore to finish up the season as they get ready for the playoffs. They start to set their rotation, try to decide who they want to carry in that first round of playoffs in the bullpen. Try to keep guys rested but sharp the last week of the season. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're just not real sure just yet who or when they're going to play.
Urania in behind the runner at second, so Gaviglio stepped off the bag. Bregman's had an MVP season, no doubt about it. He is second in the American League in extra base hits with 82. Takes one down and away. When you look at his season, he's had a complete season in my mind. He's the first third baseman in history to collect at least 50 doubles, 30 homers in the same season while playing the majority of his games at third base.
Think about the great third baseman that we have seen over the years.
No swing according to first base umpire Bruce Streckman down at first. You talk about George Brett, you talk about Mike Schmidt, Adrian Beltre, Wade Boggs, so many great third basemen. Bregman stands alone as the only third baseman to collect 50 or more doubles and 30 homers in the same season.
Brooks Robinson, Pie Traynor, Eddie Matthews, all Hall of Famers.
Off the plate. Oh, he called it for a strike. Bregman was ready to take off the shin guard. He felt it was off the plate outside.
He's got a very good eye. In fact, he's walked more than he has struck out. Thought that was ball 4. I think Gavilio's doing the right thing. Nibble on those corners. If you end up walking them, you end up walking them. You've got first base open right now.
Marwin Gonzalez is on deck. Gonzalez a switch hitter. Danny Jansen giving the signs to Gaviglio with Springer at second. Fly ball left field. This ball is going to go over the wall for a 2-run home run. Alex Bregman. He was on the verge of walking. It's called the strike. And he comes up with his 31st home run, and the Astros have a quick 2-0 lead.
Yeah, who wants to walk when you could swing the bat that way like Alex Bregman? That's 53 straight games now that he has reached base. That's a new franchise record. He breaks the tie with Jeff Bagwell, who did it in 98 and 99, 52 consecutive road games getting on base. It looked like an off-speed pitch down and in, and with that nice little short swing. It's not very high. It just barely clears the wall in left field and gives the Astros a quick 2-0 lead.
What a season Bregman has had. He now has 103 RBIs. He has hit 31 home runs to go along with 51 doubles. And he's scored 104 runs.
What a great season. Great second half coming on strong.
Gonzalez bunts it. Gaviglio barehands it and fires to first in time. Nice play by the pitcher. Alex Bregman's in tough competition for the MVP, but he is certainly putting up a good fight.
Yeah, he's sprinting to the finish line of the season offensively. It tells you once again that is a tough guy to get out. There's just not a lot of holes. He's not going to swing at pitches off the plate. He can handle all kind of pitches, and if you try to throw him inside, he can do that. Pulls that ball out of here to give the Astros the lead.
Bouncing ball off the bat of Gurriel. Solarte makes a throwing error. Solarte just airmailed Rowdy Tellez over at first, and Gurriel will end up going to second. That ball bounced into the seats.
Solarte made an error last night at third base when he came in when Gurriel got injured in that first inning. Got plenty of time on this one. Slow roller to third base. You can see he's got plenty of time. Just got underneath it. Throws it into the stands. That's going to be an error, his 9th of the season.
2 out there. Routine play, no problem at all, but he just never got his feet set. Throws it right into the seats. So this is Tyler White. White's playing at first base tonight. He takes the first pitch strike from Gaviglio.
Boy, they just keep coming after you, coming after you. 60 games this year for White. He's already driven in 41 with 12 home runs. He doesn't even have 200 at-bats.
Off the plate. White has hit well against the Blue Jays overall. For his career in just 6 games, he's hit .348 with 3 homers and 7 ribbies.
And a couple of doubles. Big, strong first baseman.
He's never had a hit here in Rogers Center. Out on the outside corner. White at Rogers Center has played 2 games prior to tonight. He's 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts. One and 2. Way outside. Long inning for Gaviglio as he's trying to get sorted out here in the first. He's thrown 22 pitches so far.
A couple of extra ones now after the error should be out of the inning. And those extra pitches, you'll see them as this game wears on, where it really affects him later in the game.
Pitching and defense go hand in hand. There's no question about that.
You'd like to have a long outing tonight from Sam Gaviglio. The Blue Jays have already announced that Sean Reed-Foley is going to start tomorrow afternoon, and it's going to be a bullpen day. Just a couple of innings for Sean Reed-Foley, and then the rest of the game is going to be up to the bullpen. So you'd like a long outing tonight from your starter. Give that bullpen a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging day. The Blue Jays will have Thursday off before they play a 3-game series to wrap up the season down in St. Pete against the Rays.
They used 5 relievers in last night's game, the Blue Jays.
Yeah, they have really had a steady parade of relief pitchers lately. Full count, 2 outs. Yuli Gurriel's at second base. He reached on the air by Solarte. Here's the 3-2 pitch outside, ball 4. So Danny Jansen, the catcher, will go out and have a chat with Sam Gaviglio, trying to get him through this first inning. 2-0 Houston. Alex Bregman with a 2-run home run to left field. Springer started with a single. Now Altuve, he was retired on a comebacker, 1-3, and then Bregman hits a 2-run home run. This is Josh Reddick. We mentioned his career slugging percentage, .616 against the Blue Jays. Inside.
He just has not been able to find that fastball command. He's been pulling everything. He's got to make the adjustment now. Maybe throw a breaking ball. Maybe that'll help him stay back over the mound just a little bit longer. Every one of those pitches have been wide. Glove side. There's a breaking ball.
That's a fair ball. Tellez will go to the bag. That'll end the inning. But it's a long inning. 27 pitches for Sam Gaviglio. Alex Bregman hits a 2-run home run to give Houston an early lead. Three homers and 12 RBIs. He's at first base tonight, batting in the 3rd spot in the batting order. Let's take a look at the rest of the lineup for John Gibbons. Jonathan Davis gets another shot at leading off. He's in center field tonight. No Kevin Millar. Ledmus Diaz, the shortstop, over his last 7 games, has 8 hits in 21 at-bats, a couple of doubles, a home run, and 3 ribbies. And Richard Urania, look at this 3-game hit streak, 6 for 10. He had his second career 3-hit game last night, and he is back in there at second base again tonight.
You want to talk about an embarrassment of riches? The Houston Astros have another good young pitcher coming up through their farm system, and here he is, Josh James, 4 games this season. He put together one of the most dominant seasons in minors this year. He had 171 strikeouts. He made his major league debut on a start on September 1st when he had his contract selected to go onto the major league roster. A former 34th round draft pick by Houston, and he's finally put it together here at the age of 25.
The first pitcher in Astros history to be drafted in the 34th round or lower and start for the Astros. He started into his windup and then didn't like that start.
Josh got his first major league win his last time out against Seattle. 5 1/3 innings, 7 strikeouts. He's got a big fastball.
Jonathan Davis hitting .200 for the season. This is his 17th game since coming up from the minor leagues. Davis is 3 for 15 so far. Takes the ball downstairs, 2-0. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., the disappointment of having to sit and watch his brother play for the Astros. He left the game after his first at bat, and we've been told his season is over. He has that hamstring strain. He had hamstring problems last year. Started first in spring training, then in the minor leagues, and he was so much looking forward to playing against his older brother, Yuli Gurriel.
Played 1 inning. His brother got a base hit. He grounded into a double play, and that was it. And we got the word today that his season's finished.
There's a base hit for Jonathan Davis. Pitch was up in the air. Davis thinking about 2. Here he goes. The throw from Kemp is not in time. He's got great speed. That's his first big league extra base hit.
You know, when you stand around the batting cage and there's some of the major league coaches there and you ask them, hey, what do you think so far of Jonathan Davis? And every one of them have a lot of good things to say. Their eyes light up and they say, you know what? This kid is getting better and better. He does some things on a major league field that we haven't seen here for a while, like this. Shades of Rajay Davis down the left field line as he turns that single into extra bases with his speed.
It's an aspect that has sorely been missed by the Blue Jays. The lack of speed. This is Billy McKinney now. Because after that first pitch, it's a changeup at 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, I watched his last start, the one I was talking about when he beat Seattle, had 7 strikeouts through 87 pitches, just 4 hits, shutout baseball into the 6th inning. It was fastball 97 or 98, a good slider, and an exceptional changeup that he's not afraid to throw at all to right-handers or left-handers.
Billy McKinney playing in right field this evening. There's a 97 mile an hour fastball right in on the hands. Quickly 0-2 to McKinney. There are his season numbers in 33 games. Remember, he started the season with the Yankees, came to the Blue Jays as part of the J. Happ deal, along with Brandon Drury.
Wasn't even in the organization when the season started. He was with the Yankees. He was here when the Blue Jays were here in April. There's that good changeup. It's got a lot of movement. There's a cross-up. So Martin Maldonado is going to go out there and talk to his young pitcher about what signs they are going to use with that runner at second base.
Martin Maldonado began his season with the Angels. He was acquired on the 26th of July, and this is a good changeup, but you can see Maldonado kind of fooled on it. I don't know if he was expecting a breaking ball or not. He is a Gold Glove catcher, pretty good catcher behind the plate.
Yeah, to be able to catch a pitch like that when you're expecting something else. Talking to somebody on the bench there about what they were talking about out there. He's got good hands for a catcher.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Billy McKinney. There's that good fastball at 99. That's the first strikeout of the game. Take a look at the defense, and Houston's always got a good defense. In the outfield, it's Springer in the center, Reddick in right, and Kemp in left. And Marwin Gonzalez, their super utility player tonight. He plays at second base.
You know, he's one of my favorite players to watch because he can go anywhere on the diamond. He's played 24 games at first, 29 at second, 3 at third, 38 at short. He's played left, center, and right, 141 games total. But they can put him anywhere and not have a drop-off defensively. He's an everyday player without one position.
Yeah, he's in the lineup every day. He just happens to move around, and it's really a great asset for A.J. Hinch because you can give your regulars time off. Altuve's on the bench tonight as a DH, so Marwin steps in there.
And he's a switch hitter, and he can hit.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I like watching him play.
Rowdy Tellez tried to check his swing on that first pitch fastball, went around. Inside. Mentioned Josh James, a 34th round pick of the Astros out of Western Oklahoma State. It's a very small community college. The only reason I've heard of it before is that's where Andrelton Simmons played college ball, and the Angels drafted Simmons out of that same school. Changeup. Well, he's got a lot of run on that changeup.
Yeah, he's got a lot of run, a lot of life, a lot of movement. In that start against Seattle, he was able to throw it over at plate. So far here in the first inning, he has not been able to throw it over. Blue Jays did a good job, I thought, last night against Dallas Keuchel, laying off those pitches just off the plate. Going to have to do the same thing tonight.
Well, that's a good changeup, 89 miles an hour, and it's really a pitch you can't swing at when you're thinking about getting a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Two balls, 2 strikes. Tellez asked for time, and it's granted. Tellez fouls this one into the seats.
Well, we have a second. Let's take a look at the scouter report on Josh James. Fastball 56% of the time, and he can rush it up there. Changeup, he's going to use that. Slider and curveball. In that one game that he was played earlier this season, he was throwing a lot of fastballs early, and it took him 52 pitches to get through 2 innings. So he started listening to his catcher Brian McCann and started throwing more sliders, and worked 2 perfect innings.
Tellez called out on that fastball, 98 miles an hour, a little bit of late movement, like it caught the inside corner. A couple of strikeouts for James.
They want this ball up, and the movement, that's what's impressive about it. As it comes back out over the plate, Rowdy thinks it's going to be inside, but there's a little tail on that ball, and it just catches the inside corner.
So 2 away now, Kendrys Morales. Morales is a terrific fastball hitter. Takes that first pitch off the plate outside. Kendrys for the season right at 251. He has 15 doubles, 21 homers. And he's driven in 57. His playing time has been reduced since the start of September with all the September call-ups. Fly ball into center, not that deep. Springer coming over the center fielders there, and that'll do it. The Blue Jays get a leadoff double and can't move him past second. Houston with a 2-0 lead after 1.
tenure as a member of the Blue Jays in what was likely his final home start in front of the hometown fans. And Estrada, a pending free agent, was somber when he exited the ballgame to a smattering of applause. He said he could hear the crowd, and when he looked up at a pocket of fans behind the dugout, he managed to mouth the word, "Thanks." Estrada said post-game if this was it for him, he'd like to be remembered for those remarkable playoff runs that led to back-to-back ALCS appearances. Quote, "I did pitch in a few big games and I did well for this team. Some of the most fun years I've ever had were 2015, 2016, going to the playoffs, something you'll never forget." Estrada also reflected on the support he's received over the 4 years here. Quote, "I'm thankful for everything the fans have given me, for their support. I love it here. I love Toronto." Buck.
He was absolutely one of the more dominant pitchers for the Blue Jays during those 2 playoff seasons, 15 and 16. If he is indeed done, and we don't know if he's going to make another start, but with the Blue Jays over 4 years, 39 and 40. But he's 7 and 14 this year. That really doesn't reflect on how well he pitched for the Blue Jays throughout most of his career.
Been battling so many injuries this year, and I think that had something to do with it. Some back problems and some hip problems. Pitchers need their legs. If they don't have their legs, it's tough to throw the baseball.
Martin Maldonado, the catcher, lines one, and that fan sitting in the front row made a nice catch. And
Awesome.
that young lady very happy. They both have their gloves. Well, you got to pay attention, folks, when you're sitting down there low like this. Oh, he leaned over. Yeah.
Look what I got.
Look at that. That's great. And there's a base hit to center field for Maldonado. Number 8 hitter has a leadoff single here in the second.
It's a nice pickup for Houston. You mentioned that he started with the Los Angeles Angels. Brian McCann's had some injury problems. Backup catcher Evan Gattis, more suited to DH. We've seen him in the outfield. Martin Maldonado is a great defensive catcher.
Won a Gold Glove in 2017 while catching for the Angels.
Pretty happy about that base hit to center field.
Well, he hasn't really torn it up. He is playing in his 39th game since coming to Houston. This is Tony Kemp. He goes after the first pitch and drives it deep to center field. Jonathan Davis on the run and runs it down. Boy, there's another great example of his good speed. He was shallow in center, but turned and headed toward the scoreboard and runs it down for Sam Gaviglio.
Now, I had a chance to talk with Bobby Meacham, who was his manager this year, and that's the one thing that he said about him. He could really play defense. He was shading Kemp the other way, but he was shallow. He recognized the ball off the bat and ran to it. Actually had to slow down. He was so fast, he got to slow down right at the end there to make the catch. But Bobby was saying he's such a great defender. He can help a team in any position he plays in the outfield.
Made a terrific play last night in left field when he held J.D. Davis to a long single, a one-hopper off the fence. Back to the top of the order, George Springer, for a second straight night, led off the ball game with a base hit, came around to score the first run. One out, Maldonado at first. Springer hits it high and deep, but well fouled into that second deck. Springer's had a couple of different stints dealing with injuries. He injured his thumb sliding in head first on the 17th of August. He was activated on the 17th. He injured that thumb on a steal attempt at Dodger Stadium on August 5th. And he also had a quad injury. 1-1 pitch.
Watch out.
The ball goes all the way back to the backstop. Took a breaking ball that got away from Gaviglio, and Springer bails out.
You know, he throws his changeup like a split finger, where he's got the, there it is right there. He's got the index finger, middle finger, and the ball in between there, and that one just got away from him. George Springer is saying that that ball hit him, that it just glanced off of his uniform. You can see where Danny Jansen was set up. They wanted that ball away, down and away, and it got away from him. up and in.
The Astros bench asked Springer if he felt like it hit him. They looked at the video replay, and they're not going to challenge whether or not he was hit by the pitch. 2 balls and a strike to the center fielder, and he's asked for time. Still got some dirt on his batting gloves. Springer has now started 25 of the last 27 games after missing 6 games with that quad injury.
They need him healthy for the playoffs. What a World Series he had last year, huh?
MVP of the World Series. He had a tremendous World Series.
Started off slowly. And
Boy,
then
did he
got
ever.
hot.
That spring World Series, it was interesting how poorly he got off to the start and then came on like gangbusters.
And he credits A.J. Hitch sticking with him in that leadoff spot.
Check swing tapper over the mound. Diaz unloads in a hurry. Springer's retired. 2 away.
The 2018 Honda CR-V, where style and versatility come together.
One of the most beautiful shots in North America, looking back at downtown Toronto from Center Island. 2 outs now, HOU AT TOR. He tapped back to the mound his first time up. Altuve's the DH tonight.
He's so good on off-speed pitches and secondary pitches. Coming into this series, he was the best in all of baseball at hitting secondary pitches and breaking balls. You mentioned that he tapped back to the mound. It's because he threw him a fastball inside, really sawed him off. I think that's how you have to pitch him. You got to show him the breaking ball, but you got to get him out with the fastball. Wade Boggs was like that, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, anybody that's a good hitter, anybody that hits 300 can hit the breaking ball when it's in the strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the discipline not to chase breaking balls out of the zone. And first and foremost, they always think about using the whole field.
And that's exactly what Altuve does. There's a good fastball, especially with 2 strikes. The major league average on breaking balls is 213. This guy hits 354. And now he's got a runner in scoring position at third base. You bet he's just closed off one side of the field. He's going to try and slow things down and look for something off speed.
Oh, 2. There's an off-speed pitch. Roll to third. Solarte makes a good throw in. Timeout, 2 base retired. The Astros leave a base runner on. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Blue Jays trail.
Purchase season tickets and automatically become enrolled in My Blue Jays. Learn more at bluejays.com. And Buck and Pat, you guys mentioned Lourdes Gurriel Jr.'s season as being over. Well, after having that troublesome index finger re-examined over the weekend, Aaron Sanchez had surgery on that finger earlier today. No details on what was done or what needed to be done. Based on what the Blue Jays know at this point in time, the expectation is Sanchez will be ready in time for spring training. So a tough way to end 2018 for Aaron Sanchez.
Well, it's been 2 tough years for Sanchez, going back to last year when he dealt with that finger issue. So hopefully this will bring an end to it and he can heal up and be ready for spring training. Now Nervous Solarte taking all the way, takes a look at that first pitch strike from Josh James. Solarte, 17 home runs, 54 RBIs on the season. Ground ball. Gurriel throws across the diamond in time. One away. Billy Gurriel has shown his versatility. He spent most of his time playing at first base. He was played 98 games at first base, 11 at second, and this is his 12th start at third.
You know, that's what makes the Astros so good, is they're so versatile. A.J. Hinch can pencil him, Marwin Gonzalez anywhere. You can put the outfielders. They're all interchangeable. They can play anywhere in the outfield. Yeah, and they can pitch too.
They can really pitch. And they have Bregman, who's their regular third baseman. He can play short. He was drafted as a shortstop. And Marwin Gonzalez, he can play everywhere. Altuve's the second baseman, of course. But they need Correa back.
And they're building for that.
This is drilled into the alley in right center. It's going to get down and go up against the wall. Aledmus Diaz is headed for second. He'll stop there. His 26th double of the season. Boy, he sat back and hit that breaking ball with authority.
One of our features in the opening today about a player who has come over here from the St. Louis Cardinals, and it took him a little time to get on track. He was telling me yesterday, he said, coming to a new league, coming to a new team, everything was different, and it took me some time to get adjusted, to learn some of the pitchers, have an idea what I want to do, or with some regular playing time. He has really put up a great second half. His numbers in the second half offensively for the Blue Jays are as good as it gets.
Yeah, that's his third double in his last 8 games. Dwight Smith Jr. gets a start tonight in left field. He likes the fastball as well. This will be an interesting matchup for Smith Jr. 32 games so far this season. He's got a couple of homers. He's driven in 8.
What young player doesn't like the fastball? I'd rather hit the fastball than the breaking ball, right? Go ahead and look for it. He got one
Upstairs.
there. He was telling me an interesting story the other day about his leg kick when it got started. He was a young player. I think he said he was about 12 years old, and he played in a tournament, and he goes, you know, I was 8 for 12. I hit the ball well, but they were all singles. Said I wanted to hit for some more power, so I started lifting up my leg to try and hit the ball a little bit further, and it stuck with him. I thought maybe his father might have taught him that.
That's what he told me. He said he asked his dad after that tournament. He said, we lost the tournament, and I was disappointed. So I said, Dad, I need to hit for more power. How do I do that? He says, well, I'm going to work on a leg kick for you, and he's been doing it ever since.
Remember his dad being a leg kick type of hitter? I don't.
I don't know.
I don't remember it, but his swing is a lot different than his father's. But he can hit.
Off the plate, call for a strike. 2-2 now. Dwight Smith Sr. played 8 years in the major. Started out with the Cubs. Spent 5 seasons playing as a Cub. Had his best season in his rookie year. Hit 9 home runs and drove in 52 and hit .324. Finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting that year. Popped up. Gurriel giving chase. He is going to have the ball go off his glove. That was interesting because Gurriel got to it, slid, not sure how far he was from that wall, But all the while, Aledmus Diaz went back to tag up at second base just in case there's a chance to advance.
Ball wasn't hit that high, so I didn't think Gurriel had a chance to make a catch, and he gets his glove on it. Aledmus Diaz, a heads-up play. Watch this. If he catches this, he knows he's going to have to slide. Maybe I can tag up and move to third base.
Well, there's always some place to be on the baseball field, and it was a foul ball. A lot of guys would just stand there and watch the foul ball. Not Diaz. 2-2. This is popped up shallow left field. Tony Kemp, the left fielder, is waiting there, and he makes the catch. We'll go back to Aledmus Diaz and talk about his second half of the season. The numbers have been very impressive.
Yeah, how about this? The team rank. He's first in average at 293, second in home runs with 10. And when I asked him, I said, you know who leads the team in RBIs since the All-Star break? He said, I don't know. Is it me? And I said, absolutely. 31 RBIs for Diaz. That leads the team in the second half. He's just become a complete hitter. He says, I got to get ready to hit the fastball. I've been using the whole field just a little bit more, and it's really turned his season around.
Danny Jansen makes the first pitch off the plate outside. Jansen playing in his 29th game. This is his 22nd start behind the plate. He's held his own, hitting .267.
For some players, it can be a shock coming to the major leagues.
This is popped up and playable. Maldonado with the mask and throws it aside, makes the catch that ends the inning. Aledmus Diaz with a one-out double. He's stranded. We'll go to the third. Houston has a 2-0 lead. Things off for Houston in third, and he has had some special season. And when you look at where he ranks as far as age 24 season or younger, 30+ home runs, 50 or more doubles, and 100 or more RBIs, he's in very elite company.
Only the fourth player since 1920, the live ball era, who have been able to do that. And his name is next to now Lou Gehrig, Albert Pujols, A-Rod. Pretty impressive numbers for a 24-year-old to put up those types of numbers. And Albert Pujols, his wasn't just a one-year thing, was it?
Yeah, he did it a couple of years there early in St. Louis.
Pretty impressive.
Bregman made the All-Star team for the first time, and I say for the first time because you can count on him. He's going to be at many All-Star games before it's all said and done. Breaking ball catches the top of the strike zone. Bregman hit a home run in the All-Star game. You remember he came into the ball game in the 6th inning as a pinch hitter, and then in the 10th inning had a leadoff home run. away. Up and in, down and away. That's the way we used to talk about hitters. Pitch them up and in, down and away. You'll never have any problems.
You know what makes him a good hitter? He's got great strike zone awareness. He understands that. But watch when the pitch is on the way, what his front shoulder does. Really tucks.
Pops this one a mile high over near the seat. Solarte to give it a look, but it's back out of play.
You know, when you tuck that front shoulder the way he does, the hands go back. And you're in a great hitting position to see the ball and then to just attack it with your whole body. Not a real big guy when it comes to, you know, he's not like a J.D. Martinez or a Stanton or anything like that, but he's got great fundamentals at the plate.
He's listed at 6 foot tall and 180 pounds. Average by standards. And there's a great slider right on the outside corner as Gaviglio strikes out. Bregman first strikeout of the ball game for Sam.
He needed a big pitch with 2 strikes against a very good hitter, and he comes up. Slider. It looks like a fastball and breaks late. He doesn't do that very often. Bregman strike out. So chalk that one up to Sam.
And even though he's 1 for 2 with a home run, he's not too pleased about that strikeout. He's one of the toughest in the game to strike out. Bregman strikes out only once every 8.6 at bats. Fly ball to left field. Dwight Smith Jr. backing up just in front of the warning truck as Marwin Gonzalez flies out 2 away.
Hurry into Home Hardware's kitchen event on now until October 9th. Here's how.
Two outs, top of the 3rd inning. Marco Estrada kicking back in the bullpen with Justin Schaefer. Schaefer has been on a throwing program and he hopes to throw again. He's been dealing with an elbow strain, but he hopes to throw down in St. Pete against the Tampa Bay Rays. Yuli Gurriel with a single to right left field as he jumps on that breaking ball. You talk about good hitters being good breaking ball hitters. Gurriel's another example of that.
I think that's why he hits so well with runners in scoring position, and that bat stays on that hitting plane a long time. Watch it. The barrel comes sweeping through and how it stays right through the baseball a long time. As he hits that first pitch for another hit. Second time he's been on tonight.
Reached on an error in the first, has a 2-out single here, and his little brother obviously very proud of Yuli's accomplishments. Tyler White, the first baseman, walked his first time up. There's another late round pick by the Astros that's made his way to the big leagues. He was a 33rd round pick back in 2013.
Yeah, you got to be careful with him. And he's got some extra base pop. We mentioned the 12 home runs. He also has 12 doubles and 191 at bats.
He got 3 triples as well. Big ballpark down there at Minute Maid Park in Houston. 2-0 pitch. That's a good slider. Well, when you look at that slider, you showed the slow motion pitch that struck out Bregman. When that slider is at its best for Gaviglio, there's a little tiny red dot on it. And that's tight. It's difficult to see for hitters. When you have a big sloppy dot, it's a red flag for a hitter that it's a breaking ball. But when it's tight like that, a lot of them think it's a fastball.
That one was a little bit loopy, if you will. It just kind of spun up there. So you want the tiny dot like the size of a golf ball, not the size of a softball.
Yeah, no, you want it really tight, and there's a dot almost. When it's a dot, that's your best slider that you can throw. That pitch he threw to Bregman had that little red dot on the back of the baseball.
I remember hearing that for the first time when I was a young player. red dot on the baseball. I'm like, what are they talking about? Then I started seeing good sliders when I became a professional. They were right. It's basically the threads of the seams. When you spin it correctly, it just looks like there's a red dot on the baseball.
Yeah, that breaking ball spins so fast that those seams turn into a blur, and all you can see is the red dot on that tight slider. Gurriel 5 for 6 in steals. He's not a real threat to run. Looks like he wants to run here. Not going. Off the end of the bat, Diaz will flip to Urena, and that'll end the inning. Yuli Gurriel with a 2-out single. He's stranded on base. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Urena, Davis, and McKinney against Josh.
Blue Jays app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Blue Jays home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Don't forget to download MLB At Bat today. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. We move to the bottom of the third inning. Houston scored 2 runs in the first on a Alex Bregman 2-run home run. Number 9 hitter is Richard Urena. Richard has hits in 17 of his 22 starts this season. He was most recently called up AAA Buffalo on the 4th of September. He's getting a very decent opportunity to play here in the month of September. Urena has been up and down several times this year. He's called up on the 4th, 8th of May, 20th July, and then the 7th of August.
Penciling him in at second base. 4 straight starts at second base. He's also played a little third base. He came in a game that he didn't start and played a couple innings at third base. Gurriel was playing short. He was playing second now. An extended look.
It gets a base hit past Gurriel into left field. A leadoff single here in the third. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. Boy, you know what? The Yankees, they were able to stockpile players. Echeverria all of a sudden becomes a very important player for New York with the injury to Didi Gregorius. Urena at first, a leadoff single. It's a third hit for the Blue Jays. Jonathan Davis had a leadoff double his first time up, and he didn't move past second. Like Maldonado kind of got fooled on that breaking ball. They haven't had an awful lot of experience with Josh James. He was just called up start of September.
Yeah, and just his third start. He's been in 4 games. This is his 5th game, 3rd start. He's only thrown 16 innings, but he's had 24 strikeouts and just 6 walks.
Hard breaking ball gets away from James. It's a ball on a strike.
171 strikeouts in the minors this year. That was just in 114 and 3rd innings. He led the minor leagues in strikeouts per 9 innings, 13.5.
He carried that right into his first big league start. He had 9 strikeouts in his major league debut against the Angels. That was in just 5 innings. A hit and runs on, and it's fouled back. The significance of 9 strikeouts. It's the second most strikeouts by an Astros pitcher in his major league debut. Remember big Scott Ellerton? He had 9 strikeouts back in '98 against the Reds, and Dan Larson in '76 against Montreal. But the franchise record for the most strikeouts in a major league debut, James Rodney Richard. He struck out 15 way back in 1971 against the Giants in San Francisco.
And remember some of those Giants players, Willie McCovey, Willie Mays, Tito Fuentes. I had some Hall of Famers on that team.
Hot shot glove by Gurriel, second for 1, back to first, double play. Nice play by the third baseman. He starts the 5-4-3 double play.
You know, that's the thing when you've got players who can move around the diamond like that and can give you defense, exceptional defense, and you don't lose anything. That's where the real value is. And Gurriel playing third base takes that hot smash, that one hopper, and turns it into 2. That's Gurriel and Marwin Gonzalez, the second baseman and the third baseman tonight.
Billy McKinney goes after the first pitch and pulls it foul. Gurriel's playing third base for the second time in 3 days. He had a chance to play there on Sunday at home against the Angels. For the season, we mentioned this is his 12th start at third base.
Some guys can move around, but they just don't look comfortable in certain positions. But those guys, wherever you put them, they seem to be more comfortable.
Of course, you're talking about Marwin Gonzalez first and foremost. He's a guy that starts all over the place. Gonzalez at second base tonight, giving Altuve a breather. Altuve's made 127 starts at second. Gonzalez the second most. This is his 18th. Ball on a strike to Billy McKinney. Bringing a drive. This ball's gonna go. Billy McKinney has just put the Blue Jays off the board. His 6th home run of the season. McKinney showing a little pop here.
Some things that you got to like about Billy McKinney. When we have watched him this month of September, he's got a little pop. He gives you tough at bats. He makes it work for you. He was telling us today he's wearing contact lenses for the first time this year.
Rowdy Tellez called out on strikes his first time up.
And
he after that breaking ball.
He saw that one. Put those new contacts, put a charge in it. Fastball, they wanted it up, it's down. He's a good low ball hitter, and that one's not coming back.
Home run number 6 for McKinney, RBI number 13. Now he's got to dig all the sunflower seeds out of his jersey. Tellez fouls back the fastball, 0-2. This is a pretty swing from McKinney.
Yeah, take that bat hit right to the ball. He'll supply the power because he throws so hard. You just be on time. Get that front foot down and catch it out in front.
Tellez drives this one to left field. Kemp over to his left, makes a running catch. The Blue Jays are retired in the bottom of the 3rd, but Billy McKinney gets them on the board. A line drive, a home run to right. His 6th of the season has cut the Astros lead in half.
and agreed to a peace bond for 1 year in his assault case. The peace bond is not an admission of guilt, but essentially promises he will be on good behavior for that time period. The Crown then withdrew the assault charge. According to the Crown, the complainant is in Mexico and does not want to testify. She would like to continue co-parenting their 3-year-old child. After he left the courtroom, Osuna released this statement that read in part, "I am pleased and relieved by today's court decision. Now I can begin to put the allegations behind me and focus on baseball. I want to thank my family, teammates, and fans for believing in me. I am grateful to the Astros for providing me with the opportunity to play baseball and compete for a World Series championship." Buck.
Certainly an unfortunate situation for all parties involved, and for the time being, there has been a resolution. 2-1 ball game. Sam Gaviglio has settled in after giving up 2 in the first. There's pitch changeup in there to Josh Reddick. Reddick grounded out to first baseman at the end of the top of the first. Reddick in his second season with Houston. Blue Jays expect him to pull the ball on the ground.
He brought a little attitude over here last year, didn't he?
A.J. Hinch told us last year he wasn't sure if most of the players were afraid of him. He had the attitude that you want. Championship ball player. He's retired on a 3-1 ground out.
It's a lot like when Kirk Gibson went over to the Dodgers in 1988, and he brought that intensity with him and leadership, and tried to mess around with him one day in spring training, and Gibson held a meeting and said, "Hey boys, we're here to play baseball. We're not going to mess around."
Yeah, what happened in spring training is somebody took the eye black and put it inside his batting helmet. So of course when he put it on and then took it off, he was covered with eye black over his head. Of course he's bald. So everybody thought that was cute. Everybody but Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, and if you know Gibby, he's an intense guy with a football background from Michigan State, and he's a winner. And he came from the Detroit Tigers, and one of those leaders on that great team, very intense player. He says, "Hey, you know, if you guys want to win, or do you want to goof around and have fun?" And tell you what, they rode him all the way to a championship.
Hit a home run in the World Series on one leg. Had one at bat. Ground ball to the shortstop. Diaz throws out Maldonado. 2 quick outs here in the fourth. Kirk Gibson went from Detroit in '87 to the Dodgers in '88, and he had a good season in his first year with LA. Hit 25 home runs, hit .290, but injured his knee late, and he was supposed to be out of the World Series. But Tommy Lasorda took a shot, and I'll never forget Mike Scioscia talking about it. He said, "I'm sitting on the bench and Kirk Gibson's walking. I'm thinking, where the heck is he going? He can't hit." Walked up and hit a home run.
Hit a home run off of Eck to win it. Turn that series around. It was game 1. Gave the Dodgers a chance and a feeling like they could win it.
And never had another at bat.
And they won. MVP, wasn't he?
MVP. 88. Silver Slugger in '88. This is Tony Kemp, the left fielder. Kemp flying out to center his first time up. Top of the fourth inning. That Snyder missed down and in. He's trying to go backdoor with that breaking ball and missed. 2-1 now. This young group of pitchers has impressed in their short time with the Blue Jays. Sean Reed-Foley on the left, Thomas Pannone in the middle, and Ryan Baracki. Reed-Foley will start tomorrow, albeit an abbreviated start. Ryan Baracki's made 16 starts, and he started his career against this same Houston Astros team down in Houston back in June. But they have created a competitive atmosphere, internally competing with one another. And it's much, much too early to draw comparisons. But you remember the early days of Atlanta? When those 3 pitchers would sit around and talk baseball and took a lot of shots just like this? Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox. Fly ball down the left field line, and that's going to be out of play.
Do you think those young pitchers need their Kirk Gibson for next year?
Oh, yeah. I think everybody needs a Kirk Gibson.
Meaning a veteran guy, a
Sure.
leader, an intense guy, a Jack Morris who came over here.
James Shields.
James Shields.
He was one of those guys that went from Tampa Bay to Kansas City. And just one of those guys that set example by pitching, not necessarily holding court every day or telling people what to do, just by his example. There's a good pitch. That comeback fastball gets Kemp. Good inning for Sam Gavidio. 3 up, 3 down. Blue Jays headed to the bottom of the 4th, trailing by a run. Morales, Solarte, and Diaz against Josh James. This series, it'll be the Orioles in Boston take on the Red Sox. It all starts at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific time. Chris Sale will be on the hill for the Red Sox against Jeffrey Ramirez for Baltimore. Sale getting another tune-up as he gets set for the postseason. He is 12-4 on the season, and by all accounts, he was pretty good last time out at Cleveland, but he still was charged with 2 runs on 5 hits over 3 1/3. But the velocity's there, the break on his slider is there.
Yeah, they are tuning him up and just getting him ready for the playoffs. They've slowed everything down so they have him for the whole month of October. At least that's what the plan is. Seemed to wear down just a little bit last year.
Yeah, he did. He's not a big guy, and he has a big workload every single year, but he seems to have trouble.
That's actually game 2 of a doubleheader between those 2 teams tomorrow. David Price is going to throw in one of those games for Boston and Sale the other.
Ground ball. That's Bregman, the shortstop, making the throw to first. Kind of handcuffed Tyler White with that sinking fastball, but that's one away. Morales retired. Josh James, an interesting story. We mentioned he was a 34th round pick in 2014 out of a junior college in Oklahoma. He's 25 years old. And a couple of years ago in the minor leagues, his roommate just couldn't take it any longer. He said, "Man, you got to get that snoring fixed. It's killing me." And he finally had a checkup and found out he had sleep apnea and a deviated septum, and surgery was recommended. And he said, "No, I think I'll try something else." So he went to the CPAP device and uses that to sleep, and found out he was just fatigued all the time because he wasn't getting good sleep.
He didn't have the fastball that he has now, right? Because he is too tired.
He's picked up 7 miles an hour of velocity since he started using that CPAP mask. And it's really been interesting. And you remember a couple of years ago, Mike Napoli had the surgery to address that, and he had the same issues. That continuous positive airway pressure allowed him to get plenty of oxygen and get a full night's rest, and because of that, he was rested, he could work out, he was able to lift weights, and his velocity has spiked.
Yeah, now his fastball's touching 100 miles an hour with a slider and a good changeup, and there it is. Changeup at 90 miles an hour, and he still gets that 10 miles an hour separation between his fastball and his changeup. His just is a little bit higher than everybody else's. Changeup at 90, watch the drop.
Well, it's interesting because he had to learn how to pitch without the velocity, and he developed a great changeup. And there you see it, it's a good slider. So he would pitch at 92, 93, and he learned how to pitch and how to survive. And then all of a sudden he came up with the great fastball. And he's kind of come out of nowhere for Houston. Aledmus Diaz hit a double to right center back in the second. Inside. That's an easy 97, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting arm angle also. Got to be tough for right-handers. You're thinking about, man, that ball's going to be coming in on me. You don't want to open up too quickly. But Houston, they've done a good job over the years of finding players and developing players. They've traded away a lot of good ones over the last few years, but there's plenty more coming in their system.
A.J. Hinch, manager, and the first-year bench coach, Joe Espada, having a conversation. And look at the dive on that changeup.
It works like a splitter, doesn't it? I don't want to compare him to King Felix because he's been doing it a lot longer, but that changeup is the same type of movement. It looks like a splitter that goes straight down.
2-2. Fastball hit deep into the seats. The Astros have done a terrific job of marrying analytics with baseball scouting. And they will look for certain things analytically and then send scouts to check out players. They have identified spin rate for fastballs and breaking balls, and A.J. Hinch and his staff has utilized that information, and they've brought out the best in Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Charlie Morton. They've all flourished since joining the Astros.
Ryan Presley, you know, and it's a theory that starts at the top. Are we going to be sinker slider, or are we going to be four-seam curveball?
Diaz takes ball 4 outside. He's been on base twice so far tonight.
Well, they had him set up for a slider 3 pitches before that, but he never went to him. Fastball changeup his last couple of pitches.
Verlander, Cole, and Keuchel. That's a pretty good way to start the postseason. Justin Verlander has thrown the ball as well as he ever has. And he was picked up late last year and carried them right through the World Series.
That arm never gets tired, or so it seems. Lance McCullers, I saw him running around today. Looks like he's going to be back.
First pitch swinging is Dwight Smith Jr. Hits a pop-up on the infield. That's Marwin Gonzalez, and that'll do it. 2 out walk and then nothing more. We'll go to the 5th. Houston leads at 2-1. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio. starts of this season for the starting pitchers. Marco Estrada has made 28 starts. He'll probably not start another game. But Sam Gaviglio, who didn't pitch for the Blue Jays until the second week of May, is second with 23 starts.
It's impressive. He's taken the ball and he's given the Blue Jays good numbers here at home. Jay Happen, Aaron Sanchez, the other ones on that list right there. Sam, don't know if he's going to get another one after this one. There's 4 starts after this one. Not sure if he's going to get another one. He could finish it up and throw the last day of the season, depending on what the other pitchers do, how many innings they want to get from him.
George Springer, leadoff man, is 1 for 2. Grounded out to shortstop his last time up. Gaviglio's previous high in starts. Last year he made 13 starts for the season, 11 for Seattle and 2 in Kansas City. Blue Jays picked him up right at the end of spring training. He was traded for a player to be named later from the Kansas City Royals on March 21st.
Then got in shape, went down to Buffalo and pitched pretty well down in Buffalo, and then recalled on May the 11th. Made a couple of relief appearances. The Blue Jays thought enough of him when they saw him making those couple of relief appearances, and they put him in the rotation. He's been there ever since.
There's another good slider, and Springer strikes out. That's 3 strikeouts for Gaviglio.
Well, that's a good slider. First time that he's gotten George Springer tonight with the slider. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined, available now. Springer thought that was a fastball, started to open up just a little bit too early. But it's a slider, 3rd strikeout of the night for Sam.
Jose Altuve grounded out a couple of times so far tonight. Breaking ball. Rowdy Tellez takes it on the short hop. Altuve is 0 for 3. Six in a row retired by Gaviglio. So here is Alex Bregman once again. Seems like he comes up every inning. Bregman has homered and struck out. He was the 2nd overall pick in his draft year, and I asked the GM of the Astros, Jeff Lunau, I said, what was it about Bregman that you liked to take him with your first pick? He said he was in a great college program at LSU, and we felt he was the best hitter in the country, and everybody thought he was a baseball rat. Turned out to be a heck of a pick. Sam Gaviglio needs just 6 pitches in the inning to retire the side. Now the offense has got to come through against Josh James. It'll be Oakland or New York against the Boston Red Sox. That's the wild card game in the American League. Cleveland and Houston are already set. And St. Louis and Milwaukee, they will play the wild card game. One of those two teams. And it'll be against the Cubs if the Cubs can hang on to the division.
Yeah, that's if it ended today.
Yep.
But a lot can happen between now and Sunday.
St. Louis and Milwaukee. Milwaukee has scored 2 runs in the top of the first to take a 2-0 lead. Look out, Danny. That one hit him on the back of the left arm. So he is hit by a pitch, and he'll take first base, leading off the bottom of the 5th. A painful way to take your base.
Yeah, never fun, but that's a changeup that gets away and hits him right in the right backside. I guess if you're going to get hit, that's where you want to get hit with that pitch.
You have more protection there than any place on your body. So he'll be fine. Richard Ureña's already got a hit tonight. That throw to first, designed to see whether or not Ureña will chip his hand as to whether or not he's bunting.
This just in, the Blue Jays don't bunt. I think everybody knows that. I think it's a record for the fewest sacrifice bunts.
They've got 5 already this year. Houston's not so sure of that.
What do they have? 5 triples last year or something like that, which was like a record for the fewest triples.
Yeah.
They now have 5 sacrifice, which I believe is going to be, if it stays like that, a record for fewest sacrifice bunts in a full season.
Brent Stroud, the pitching coach, checking that stat sheet, said, I don't think this team punts. And Ureña crossing everybody up.
Well, that wasn't a sacrifice. He was bunting for a base hit, doing that on his own. You could see how he went after that and how he positioned himself in the batter's box like he was going to bunt and then run, try and beat it out.
Boston Red Sox, they don't bunt either. They have 7 sacrifices all season long. Same for the Angels. Oakland has 6. Blue Jays lead the American League with the fewest at 5. Ureña's got a big hole on the right side of the infield. Hits it to the right side. Gonzalez has it for 1, back to second, and in time. Boy, that's what you mean about Marwin Gonzalez. You could put him anywhere, and he's not just going to stand there. He's going to give you first-class defense.
Yeah, that's what's impressive about some of these players that you see in baseball. You can put them at different positions, and they give you Gold Glove efforts all the time. You can put Marwin anywhere. And I mean anywhere except pitcher and catcher, and he's going to give you great defense. Same thing with Gurriel and Bregman. All 3 of those guys, they're out of position that they normally play in. I'm talking about Gurriel, the third baseman, Bregman, the shortstop, and Gonzalez, the second baseman. Tonight's basically their infield. They're playing in different positions, and they look great.
Tony Sipp loosening up. One of 3 lefties they have in their bullpen. Sipp pitched 2/3 of an inning in last night's game.
This might be one of those, hey, get this guy right here. We've got a couple of lefties coming up behind him. This might be your last batter. Give me what you have here. Finish it off, get this out, get 5 innings in, possibly be in line for the win. McKinney and then Tellez, the lefties after him.
Jonathan Davis has doubled in, hit into a double play. The Blue Jays have bounced into 2 double plays so far. It's a 2-1 game. After Davis, as Pat mentioned, it'll be Billy McKinney, Rowdy Tellez, and then the switch hitter, Kendrys Morales. Breaking ball well off the plate. 3 strikeouts so far for James.
Well, he could go anywhere now. 0-2. He could go fastball if he wants to. He can go changeup if he wants to, or he can go right back to that slider if he wants to.
This time Davis lays off that hard slider. James has had at least 4 strikeouts in each of his 4 previous outings. That's Lance McCullers Jr. on the left. And that's encouraging. He's been on the DL. He hasn't thrown since early August. They'd certainly like to get an idea of what he might feature. Bouncing ball to third. Gurriel has it. Unloads in a hurry, and that'll do it. The Blue Jays go down on just 8 pitches, hit into another double play. We'll go to the 6th, still a 2-1 game.
Coach Louis Rivera told me what he'd like to see Tellez do is move his feet around a little bit quicker. The two have been working on the drop step, a play that, according to Rivera, is important for corner infielders. Rivera said you have to be able to recognize all the hops, when to attack, when to drop back to put yourself in a better position to field those tough hops. Justin Smoke said he tells Tellez that good footwork will make your hands better. It's just like hitting. When your legs and lower body is in rhythm, ready to hit, your bat follows. Now, if you leave everything up to your glove, you're going to make things look tougher. Smoke makes everything look easy, Buck. He is one of the most underrated defensive first basemen in all of baseball.
Justin Smoke's been quick to help out the youngsters, especially Rowdy Tellez. They've worked together through the last couple of spring trainings. And Tellez has so much potential with the bat, and you'd like to see him match that with the glove and become an everyday player down the road, much like Justin Smoke. Marwin Gonzalez will lead things off. He takes the first pitch from Gaviglio, low for ball 1. Gonzalez batting in a cleanup spot tonight. It's another aspect of their versatility. You don't have to hit everybody in the same spot every night.
Yeah, they don't have that big bopper like you see some of those other teams right in the middle of their lineup. They've got just good hitters up and down the lineup. Good on-base percentage, good average, plenty of production. Gonzalez hit 20 bombs last year as a part-time player.
It's the 11th time he's hit in the cleanup spot. The player with the most opportunities batting cleanup, Carlos Correa. They've used Correa there 59 times, Gurriel 57 times. So they've got a very flexible lineup. 3-0. Ball 4. 4 straight wide ones for Gonzalez. Second walk issued by Gaviglio. That's the way the top half of the 6th begins.
You want to see that leadoff walk. He always seems to work his way around the bases. Pete Walker on the phone to Dane Johnson to get somebody up right away. Now they got to deal with Yuli Gurriel.
Looks like Jose Fernandez will be the first one up for the Blue Jays. And Danny Barnes, he's going to join him as well. A righty and a lefty for the Jays. Yuli Gurriel has gone 1 for 2 so far. Close but low. Ball 1 to Gurriel. Long look down at third. Gary Pettis, the third base coach, going through the signs. Ball 2. Gaviglio's pitch count pretty good shape. He's thrown just 76 pitches. Look at the combination of Gonzalez at first, DeMarlo Hale giving the signs to the catcher, and Yuli Gurriel the batter. It's a good hit and run combination for Houston.
If they want to do that, they might just want to sit back and let Gurriel swing away. Trust his judgment on the strike zone. And he's thrown 7 wide ones in a row.
7 straight balls issued by Gaviglio to start the top of the 6th. Gurriel had 2 hits in the game last night, his 5th straight multi-hit game. Trying to catch up to his younger brother.
What does he need? 6 more?
That's a strike. 3-1. Lourdes Gurriel had 11 straight multi-hit games earlier in the season. An 11-game hit streak is impressive.
Yeah, 11 with 2 hits, at least 2 hits in each one, even more impressive.
Big wild swing that time. Let's watch how he changes with 2 strikes.
And they might change themselves in starting that runner just to stay out of that double play. Gaviglio throw his share of ground ball outs. So you start that runner to stay out of the double play.
Tyler White is on deck. There goes the runner. Fouled off the catcher, Danny Jansen. So they started the runner in an effort to stay out of a possible double play. A.J. Hinch looking where he's at in the lineup. It's a 1-run game. Houston leading 2-1. You start the runner. Gurriel hits a ground ball. Maybe you get a runner into scoring position for Tyler White.
It looked like Urania, the second baseman, was covering on that play, that last pitch.
There he goes again. Ground ball through the left side. Gonzalez is going to challenge the arm of Davis. Here's the throw to third, not in time.
You know, that's another reason why you start that runner on a base hit. You can go first to third, even to left field. Very tough to go first to third if you don't have a running start. You have to have a good effort. You have to take off at first base like you're anticipating that ball being hit. Gonzalez did that. He gave him a good effort, and he's able to go first to third. Watch how hard he runs from the beginning. And recognizes that ball is in left field. He can really make it without a throw. No chance to get him at third base.
So Yuli Gurriel's been on base 3 times. He's got 2 more hits tonight. It's the 6th straight game with 2 hits or more. It's the first time that has happened since last season when Altuve had a streak of 6 straight multi-hit games. Gurriel has now hit in 11 straight games overall. Mentioned he came into this series swinging a hot bat. Got 4 hits in the first 2 games. Here's Tyler White. Nobody out. Runners at the corners. Gaviglio needs a strikeout. Oh, Danny Jansen made a terrific block on that ball. Gaviglio just steered it right into the dirt, way out in front of home.
You know, as an infielder, when you get those in-between hops, those are the tough ones because you're not really sure where the ball's going to bounce, and you don't have time. He spikes this one out in front of home plate. As a catcher, you have no idea where this thing's going to spin or where it's going to break. Good job by Danny to keep that ball in front of him, keep that runner over at first base. Blue Jays, they'll look for the double play.
There's a liner into center. Gonzalez will jog in. So Tyler White picks up an RBI single. First three have reached here. Walk, single, single. Looks like John Gibbons ready to make a pitching change, and there's the call for the lefty. So White picks up the RBI, his 42nd of the season. Gonzalez scores, and once again, as Pat mentioned, that leadoff walk comes around to score.
Somehow it finds its way, doesn't it? That leadoff walk more times than a leadoff single. Overall, Gaviglio pitches into the 6th inning, and he will turn it over now to Jose Fernandez.
TD's community partners. Welcome to the ballpark. Pretty good vantage point there. You're going to see a pitching change. This is the lefty, Jose Fernandez, in to face Josh Reddick.
His ERA has gone up over his last 3 appearances. Those 3 appearances were all against Tampa Bay, and they touched him up each time with a run. 5 runs total in that 2 innings against Tampa Bay. So now with the lefty on there, Jose into the game to try and shut down this rally.
Reddick goes after the first pitch as Billy McKinney broke back, and Jonathan Davis crashes into him, and they're going to be safe. Everybody is safe. Jonathan Davis, the center fielder, crashed into Billy McKinney. They both appear to be okay, but Billy McKinney was calling for it. Davis, the center fielder, has a lot of speed, but they didn't get their signals straight, and they collided, and the ball falls safely.
Just a little over anxious. This is the right fielder's ball for sure. You can see Jonathan is shading him the other way. McKinney's coming in. He's camped underneath it. But Jonathan knocks the ball out of McKinney's glove. He's calling for it, and he is the captain out there. But it's a little bit too late, and it keeps the inning going.
He indeed was calling for it, and he has his priority over the right fielder, but Reddick is aboard. He's not been given a scoring on that yet, and I'm sure it'll be an error, but who gets charged with the error? Blue Jays have an error on the scoreboard, but that was Solarte back in the first. Bases loaded, still nobody out. Martin Maldonado, the catcher. 0-2. A couple of good sliders from Fernandez.
It's the first time that Houston is seeing Jose Fernandez. They don't know a whole lot about him. He's got a good arm and a couple of good breaking balls to get ahead in this at bat.
Center fielder has been charged with the error. Jonathan Davis.
Oh, another good slider right here. You need a strikeout. Something where those runners don't advance.
0-2. And there's a strikeout. No advance here. One away. That's a start.
Yeah, advantage to the pitcher, I think, whenever he's facing a team for the first time. They don't know a whole lot about him. You can see Maldonado telling Evan Gattis what to look for now, or they're going to go to the bench. He's probably not going to face Fernandez. John Gibbons is waiting. He's got his right-hander waiting for him to get announced into the game.
So the chess match is ongoing. Houston has scored a run here. They've taken a 3-run lead. Gattis announced into the game as a pinch hitter. John Gibbons will make a pitching change himself. Gattis hitting for Tony Kemp. Fernandez will come out of the game, and Danny Barnes will come in. 3-1 Houston. Pitching change. Tendonitis. He was on the DL from June 22nd to the 31st of August, and he picked up his third win back on the 7th of September against the Cleveland Indians. Jose Fernandez had a strikeout of Maldonado. The bases remain loaded. Gurriel's at third, Tyler White's at second, and Josh Reddick is at first. The pinch hitter is Evan Gattis, and Danny Barnes into the game with one out.
You mentioned Danny with the knee problems. I think that's partly to blame for his high whip. His whip is at 1.7. That's almost 2 base runners an inning. He's got just too many walks, and I think a lot of that has to do with that knee problem. He hasn't felt comfortable for a while.
First pitch is a ball upstairs to Evan Gattis. Gattis batting .230 for the season, but he's got 25 home runs.
He's never faced Danny Barnes. This is his first look. It's fastball changeup, what you get from Danny. Occasional slider.
High fly ball. Dwight Smith Jr. backing up, now coming in. Gurriel is tagging at third. Here's the throw to third, and it's a good strong throw. Gurriel comes in. Gattis picks up a sac fly, and it's 4-1 Houston. A 2-run inning here in the 6th. A productive at bat for Evan Gattis.
Yeah, that's why they sent him up there, the big strong man. He hit that ball, but still hit it deep enough to score the run.
For Gattis, he picks up the RBI, his 78th RBI of the season. His 4th as a pinch hitter. Now there are 2 outs. George Springer, the leadoff man. Dallas Keuchel picked up the win in last night's game.
Josh James looks like he's done. Five innings tonight. Those 2 runs have now made it 4-1.
Yeah, he's certainly taken off his game pace, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Lefty's coming up for the Blue Jays, so Tony Cipstrone's probably into the game now. I like how he goes right to the veterans. Plants himself right between them. So what'd you think, guys?
Yeah, and you know what? 5 innings, 4 hits, a single run, and a walk, and struck out 3. And with this bullpen, they do a good job. But you can see Verlander's still breaking down the outing. Keuchel's in agreement, and the student is between the 2 Cy Young Award winners. Pretty good class in session there.
That's where I'd be sitting if I was him.
1-2 to Springer. Did he go after it? No, he checked his swing according to the umpire. They finally get a late appeal down to Bruce Jetman. He said no swing. So it's 2-2.
Wow. You have to be strong to be able to do that. Start your swing and then stop it like that.
Lots of 2s. The Astros have scored 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. Bouncing ball toward third. Solarte will tag the base runner, and that'll end the inning.
That hit the catcher. Catcher's interference.
Catcher's interference. You
Yeah.
can hear it. Yep.
You could see it when Springer went to swing. You could hear it, then you could see it. And right away, the home plate umpire, that's Mike Estabrook, was on top of that one. Danny Jansen very close to the batter. And there it is, right off the glove. And Springer points to him right away, saying, hey, I was interfered with when I was trying to swing.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
He hit the glove before he made contact. He turns quickly to point to the catcher's mitt. Danny Jansen knew it. Obviously, he could feel the impact. It's an air charge to the catcher. It's the 3rd error of the game for the Blue Jays.
Second one this inning to keep this inning alive.
No at bat for Springer. Now Altuve goes after the first pitch. Solarte with a nice play, and they get the force at second. What a play by Solarte. Takes a hit away from Altuve as they get the force out on Springer at second. Good range by Solarte going to his left, and from his knees he gets the final out of the inning. Houston leads it 4-1. Run on 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 3. He gave up a home run. That was to Billy McKinney, but he is out of the game, and he'll turn things over to the Astros bullpen.
Helped out by the double play. Blue Jays hit into a couple of double plays, so he has pitched the 5 innings he needs. Tony Sipp will take over, and Sipp pitched very briefly in the game last night, 2/3 of an inning. He got the 1-4-3 double play in that 7th inning, just faced the 1 batter. He's got a couple he's going to face tonight now with the lefties coming up.
Josh Reddick started in right field, and as he did last night, he moves to left field. Jake Marisnick comes off the bench to take over in center field, and the starting center fielder now playing in right, George Springer. Here's Billy McKinney. He's responsible for the only Blue Jays run. He hit the home run in the 3rd inning. His 6th home run of the season. Ball on a strike. The Astros trying to win their 100th game of the season. Last year they won 101 games and won the World Series. Their road record at 53-22 is the best in baseball. They also have the best record in September in the majors. Came into this game 17-4.
Building up for the month of October, getting stronger. They did the same thing last year on their way to the World Series championship. They really like their bullpen. A.J. Hinch was talking about that yesterday, about their bullpen. He says, we are so deep. We're going to have a lot of options to get out hitters, and there's another one.
Colin McHugh starts to loosen up for Houston. McKinney hits a fly ball to right, not that deep. Springer is there. He makes the catch.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
The former Astro, David Paulino, loosening up for the Blue Jays. Here's Rowdy Tellez facing the lefty, Tony Sipp.
You know what this does when they bring in the left-hander, it forces John Gibbons to either make a change or not make a change. He elects to keep the young left-handers in there against Tony Sipp, but he's going to make a change now with Kendrys Morales.
Now Morales is the DH tonight. He is going to be lifted for the pinch hitter, Teoscar Hernandez. Morales went 0 for 2 in his ball game tonight. Hernandez pinch hitting for the DH.
Teoscar, a former Houston Astro, he had a lot of hellos to say to some of his former teammates before the game yesterday.
Last night, Hernandez was the DH, and he was lifted in favor of Morales in the 6th. Tonight they switch roles. Sipp misses with the first pitch. (4-3-4-1) Houston, a 3-run lead for the Astros. Upstairs, 2-0. And Ever Solarte is on deck. He's a switch hitter in John Gibbons' lineup. Same pitch. This one's called the strike.
Oscar asking about this one. Tony Sipp's been around for a long time. First came into professional baseball in 2004, part of the Cleveland Indians organization, a 45th round draft pick. But he's been pitching in the big leagues since 2009. Now 35 years old.
Yeah, came up with the Indians in 2009 as a 25-year-old. Got a late start to his career. This is his 10th season in the big leagues. Cleveland, Arizona, and now Houston. This is his 5th season with the Astros.
Valuable lefty when you get into the playoffs. When you want that matchup to get outs, and he can do it.
The pinch hitter strikes out. Teoscar Hernandez strikes out on the breaking ball. Tony Sipp retires the side in order. We'll go to the 7th. David Paulino coming in to face his former team.
Field of Dreams granting cycle. Last year, Jays Care invested $1.4 million in 16 projects refurbishing sport and recreation facilities for Canadian kids. Are you involved with a youth organization and interested in applying for a grant? All you have to do is visit jayscare.com/Field of Dreams to apply today. We're off to the 7th inning. Let's check back in with Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. New pitcher for the Blue Jays is the former Astro David Paulino, making his 6th appearance of the season.
Yeah, came over in the Roberto Osuna trade, one of 3 pitchers that the Blue Jays received from Houston. You can see Paulino, he looks like he's fired up about facing his former team. There's 5 games since they reinstated him from the disabled list and brought him up to the big leagues. They did that on September the 5th. He's not throwing as hard as he did before the injury. I remember seeing him with the Astros where he was 96, 97, but I think that's going to take some time.
First pitch strike to Alex Bregman, a number 3 hitter. Bregman hit a home run in his first at bat, a 2-run shot in the first inning. With that, he has reached base in 53 consecutive road games. There's that good curveball for strike 2. Paulino actually started his career with the Detroit Tigers. He signed with them as an amateur free agent in 2010. Detroit traded him to Houston in September of 2013.
Good fastball right there to Bregman. You mentioned Bregman's now, what, 53 consecutive road games? You know what the record is? The Major League record? Ty Cobb has the Major League record. 85 consecutive on-base streak. 85.
That's over a season's worth of road games for sure. Bregman has another hit, his 2nd of the night.
The 2018 Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
Rogers Center is closed. We'll be here tomorrow afternoon, and it's a 4 o'clock start. Pre-game show with Jamie Campbell. We'll start at 3:30 Eastern Time. Marwin Gonzalez playing at second base tonight. Gonzalez has gone over 2 with a walk. Fastball for ball one. 16 homers, 67 driven in for the super utility player. Batting left-handed at 246 average, right-handed 261. Most left-handers have a lot more at-bats batting left-hand than they do right-handed, just because of the number of right-handed pitchers they see throughout the course of a season.
And he gets one right here in Polino. Polino's got 3 different pitches he can get you out with. He's got that good overhand curveball. We've seen that already. And a changeup that he throws. And when he's throwing as hard as he did, he can be tough. Right now his fastball is 93, 94. Still really good, but nothing like he would throw before he was injured.
Gurriel waits on deck. He's reached base all 3 times he's come to the plate. Reached on an air, and he's got a couple of singles. 3-0 to Marwin Gonzalez with Bregman at first. He had the green light. Hits a lazy fly ball to right. McKinney is there. 1 away. So that'll bring Yuli Gurriel to the plate. Gurriel has had a fine evening once again. He's had quite the month of September.
Just named the American League Player of the Week last week for a huge week, and he's started this week off hot again.
Came into this game tonight batting .360 since the start of September. 5 homers, 21 RBIs. He's had a big month. His average now at 291. Last year he hit 299.
299, 1 point away, right? I mean, there's something to be said for hitting 300.
That's a foul ball.
You know, when you ask him, hey, what'd you hit last year? You know, 299. You know, 1 more hit, and then you can say, well, I hit 300.
Isn't that the truth?
There just isn't that many of them. Year in and year out.
Last year there were 11 hitters in the American League hit 300. Gene Segura and Lorenzo Cain hit 300 on the nose. Gurriel was the only American leaguer to hit 299.
How many times could you count over a full season? He probably had 500 or 600 at bats last year, where you could count you hit the ball right on the nose and didn't have anything to show for it.
He had 529 at bats, played in 139 games, and missed by 1 point.
1 point.
Hitting 300.
1 hit. That's just 1 hit somewhere over 25, 26 weeks.
1-2 to Gurriel. Breaking ball foul straight back. Bregman was on the move. He'll go back to first now. I guess you can start the runner with Gurriel at the plate with a lot of confidence. He's going to put the bat on the ball. He's just one of those guys that can make contact. He has struck out just 61 times this season.
Yeah, he doesn't strike out a lot, doesn't walk a lot. He's always putting the bat on the ball. Plus, they picked on a good pitch. You know, that slow curveball from Polino that he ran on.
He's back with another curveball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Houston scored 2 in the first and 2 more in the top of the 6th. They've taken a 4-1 lead. The only run for the Blue Jays, a Billy McKinney solo home run in the 3rd. Bregman anticipating that throw, got back easily.
Yeah, he is not taking a big lead over there.
Jansen keeping an eye on Bregman. Changeup is hit into the seats. So we'll do it again. Bregman goes back to first. Gurriel, as we mentioned, has reached base all 3 times he's come to the plate.
You know, veteran players, and I'm going to throw Bregman as a veteran player. He's been in big leagues a couple of years now. They'll get over at first base, and if you're not careful as a catcher, they'll peek in there to take a look at your signs. You got to close things up. He gets a walking lead. Looks like he's looking down at that catcher to see if he can steal some signs.
Fly ball into center. Jonathan Davis coming in a few steps. Gurriel's retired for the first time tonight. 2 outs now. Gurriel is 2 for 4. He was 2 for 4 in a game last night. So Paulino has 2 outs. Now he'll face Tyler White. White had an RBI single in the 6th. Tyler White's 27 years old. He too is a late round draft pick. He's played parts of the last 3 seasons with Houston. His best opportunity came in his rookie season in 2016. Got into 85 games that rookie season. Hit 8 home runs. This year in 60 games he's had 12 home runs.
Yeah, for a power hitter who can juice the ball, not a lot of at-bats, he's got a pretty good eye at the plate. He's laid off a couple of pretty decent curveballs to get himself into a fastball count.
Changeup missed away. 3-0. White hit 14 home runs in AAA Fresno, so he's got 26 home runs on the season, splitting his time between the big leagues and AAA.
Well, they gave Marwin Gonzalez the green light. 3-0. He's got a little bit more pop. Taken all the way.
He takes his strike. 3-1. Bregman, the leadoff single. He's still at first base. Gonzalez flied out. Gurriel flied out. Bregman's 2 for 4. Another good changeup. It's a full count now. So Tellez, the first baseman, will stay put. He's going to hold the runner on at first in an attempt to keep Bregman from scoring on an extra base hit. They'll hold him on.
Yeah, I don't want to give him an extra step or two in case there's an extra base hit. Try to keep him as close to first base as possible.
There goes Bregman. Foul on that. Bregman's getting his running in this inning. He led things off with a bouncing ball single up the middle. And in the Gurriel at bat, he took off for second on a hit and run. He's had a couple other breaks towards second base.
For some reason, I don't think he minds it. You know, he doesn't mind getting out there and playing the game.
Slow grounder to shortstop. He goes to first. That'll end the inning. Bregman with leadoff single. They strand him. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Solarte, Diaz, and Smith Jr. for the Blue Jays. got a very good team. They got a terrific lineup. Aguilar hit his 34th home run tonight. He has 105 ribbies. As Jamie mentioned, Yelich with a 3-run triple has 101 RBIs. Brewers are for real. Colin McHugh will take over for Houston.
Very interesting guy on this pitching staff. He made 12 starts last year for Houston. This year, all in the bullpen. 55 games in the bullpen. He's had 90 strikeouts. It's fastball, excellent curveball for McHugh. He can give you multiple innings out of that bullpen if you need it.
His fastball just over 92 miles an hour on average, but he's got 5 pitches. It really reflects his starter's background. So he's one of those guys, and you and I would call him a old-fashioned long man out of the bullpen. I mean, he can give you multiple innings out of the bullpen with his starter's background.
Yeah, and he becomes very valuable, I think, in playoffs. If your starter gets knocked out early, you better have somebody who's stretched out.
Josh Reddick, the left fielder, comes in and makes a running catch. Sean Solarte one away.
Hurry into Home Hardware's kitchen event on now until October 9th. Here's how.
Mark Leiter Jr. starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays. Top of the 7th inning. Bottom of the 7th inning. 1 out. This is Aledmus Diaz. He's swinging the bat very well lately.
So they start him off with the curveball, and they've got him in that shift also. They understand that he's swinging a hot bat. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. 3 infielders on the left side.
Ball is hit down the right side, but it's going to slice foul. That's one thing that we've seen in the second half of the season, where Diaz is using the whole field.
That's why I'm a little bit surprised that they were in the shift position. They're going to shift back just a little bit more. But you're right. He has said, I'm using the whole field just a little bit more. I'll take my hits to right field if they give them to me.
He bounces that breaking ball into dirt. See how they've straightened up now with 2 strikes, recognizing that Diaz will go the other way. Gonzalez has moved back to the first base side of second. Hanging breaking ball pulled foul. Marco Gonzalez was headed to get an MRI. We saw him as we were going into the clubhouse tonight. He was going out. I'm sure they don't have results of that just yet. But Marco got his start last night, probably the last start he will make as a Blue Jay on this mound. There's another base hit for Diaz. Stay hot. He's 2 for 2 with a walk.
Everything they're throwing up there lately, Aledmus Diaz has been all over it. They tried a fastball away, hit that down the right field line. They tried that slow curveball. He pulled it down the left field line. That's where they go back to the fastball. Watch how he gets to this pitch on the inside part of the plate. Fastball in, pull the hands in. Oh boy, little multi-hit game for Aledmus.
White Smith Jr. starting in left field, takes a pitch off the plate inside for ball 1. For Diaz, that's his 6th multi-hit game of the month of September.
He's got his average up to 267 now after that hit.
In September, he came into this game hitting .323. He had a 4 for 5 game against the Indians right here on the 8th of September. There's a couple of home runs this month. Good way to finish. Ball on a strike to Smith Jr. Breaking ball, base hit. Passed wide. Diaz is around second. He's headed for third, and Smith will end up at second. They stopped Diaz after he took a big wide turn at third. With White Smith Jr. with his first hit of the night, his 8th double of the season.
He picks on that slow curveball, and rifles it by the first baseman, White, who's got a hold that runner on over at first base. Take advantage of that hole, and that's what he does. Here comes the slow curveball. Dwight with that leg kick rips it down the right field, and the most impressive part about that whole play was the effort that Diaz gave Rui Rivera at third base, the coach. He's thinking about scoring right there. Watch him come around second base, and he's thinking about scoring. He never slowed up until he got the stop sign past third base.
Well, that's a terrific effort. Blue Jays, they have 4 games left of the season. He's playing it like it's opening day. Danny Jansen, the catcher, takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Jansen got hit by a pitch his last time up. Off the plate. Ball on a strike. Base hit right here. Things get interesting.
Very interesting. They've got a very deep bullpen. They got a lot of arms that they can go to. They also need to think about winning the game. They haven't clinched anything. It's close. They got to think about winning games.
Coming into this game, their magic number is 2. You see Tim Mays, the lefty, now has joined Mark Leiter Jr. Any combination of Astros wins and Athletics losses that add up to 2, they will clinch the division.
So Ryan Presley gets up. He is their 8th inning reliever. He's heating up.
Good take by Jansen. Ball was in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Colin McHugh started the inning. Got Solarte to fly out to left. Diaz got a single. Dwight Smith with a double. Now Danny Jansen trying to cash in here. Jansen's got home run power. He's got 3 home runs. The base hit will be just as nice.
Go 2 pitch is that hard curveball.
Called out on strikes. That breaking ball looked like it came around the inside corner.
I don't know about that one. It's a curveball, and he's got a good one. I don't think that one caught the plate. They wanted to go away, and he actually gets the call when the catcher moves over. Watch this ball go around the plate.
That's off the plate by 6 inches.
Yeah, not even close.
So a tough call for the Blue Jays. Richard Urania. He's had another hit tonight. Maldonado really good at blocking those balls in the dirt. Kept that one right in front of him. Urania has singled and hit into a double play.
Get him on. Get Smokey up there.
Scrambling for his batting helmet and batting gloves. Outside, 2-0. Smoke getting ready. The on-deck hitter is Jonathan Davis. But if Urania gets on, looks like Smoke's going to hit. That's a good take, borderline pitch. Brent Strom checking on the status of Ryan Presley. He's good to go.
Yeah, the wheels are spinning right now in both dugouts. If he loses Urania, Smokey's going to hit. Representing the go-ahead run, and we might see Presley then.
Ball 3 inside. The Blue Jays are a ball away from getting Smoke to the plate. Justin Smoke has had a couple of pinch hit home runs this season. Actually, he's had 1 pinch hit home run. It was a grand slam.
Out in Miami on an 0-2 pitch.
Ball 4. That'll load the bases. Will it be Smoke? So the wheels are spinning in both dugouts, and here is Justin Smoke, the switch hitter. They're scrambling for the scatter report, and there it is. What you got on Smoke? So A.J. Hinch is going to go to the mound. Looked like he put this Smoke scatter report in his back pocket. So he's going to go out to the mound. He's calling for Ryan Presley. So McHugh will come out of the game. Presley pitched a clean 8th inning last night with a strikeout. He struck out Morales to end his outing. So McHugh is out of the game. Hard throwing Ryan Presley coming in. Bases are loaded. Blue Jays trail by 3. Justin Smoke will bat when we come back. Brett Strom, the pitching coach, shuffling through the deck of cards. And then he hands it to A.J. Hinch. We assume that's the scatter report on Justin Smoke. Now watch the exchange. The catcher hands him one card. He takes another card. Baseball in 2018.
Hands it to the catcher. Now he's going over the scattering report as the pitcher makes his way in from the bullpen. So everybody is on the same page how they want to face Justin Smoke, who represents the go-ahead run now.
That is really interesting because there's so much information available and it's impossible to keep it all in your head. We have seen it with outfielders, infielders, and catchers, of course. Here's Ryan Presley. We mentioned his outing last night, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout.
98 of them. Hard fastball, hard curveball.
First pitch, strike.
And with Smoke at the plate, they are playing in that exaggerated shift. Third baseman Gurriel is almost straightaway shortstop. So Aledmys Diaz, the runner at third base, can get down that line as far as he wants.
He can go as far as Gurriel is away from third. Another curveball for strike 2. Presley's curveball, 83, 84 miles an hour. He's got a slider and a very good fastball.
He throws that curveball a lot at a high spin rate. A heck of a pickup from Minnesota for a couple of minor leaguers.
Smoke is 0 for 8 against Ryan Presley. Be a good time for his first hit. 0-2. Presley comes in and puts out the fire. Smoke strikes out. The Blue Jays leave the bases loaded. We'll go to the 8th. 4-1 Houston. Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. Now that's what baseball is all about. Dad sharing a great moment with his daughter. He caught a baseball, gave it to his daughter. He's got a souvenir. Beautiful night here for that family. 4-1, Houston leads it. We are in the top of the 8th inning. New pitcher for the Blue Jays will be the right-hander Mark Leiter Jr.
Fourth reliever of the night for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays claimed Mark off waivers from Philadelphia at the beginning of this month. This is the 8th time that he has pitched in the month of September for the Blue Jays.
New center fielder for the Blue Jays will be Anthony Alford, taking over for his brother-in-law, Jonathan Davis. Davis was lifted for the pinch hitter, Justin Smoke. Reddick shows bunt, pulls the bat back. It's 1-1. Josh Reddick is 0 for 3. He reached on the air by the center fielder, Jonathan Davis, back in the 6th inning when Davis collided with Billy McKinney. The ball fell softly to the turf and Reddick reached base. You see how they play Reddick. Now they're going to switch Solarte and Diaz will, with 2 strikes on Reddick.
No chance to bunt right now. 2 strikes. That error kept that inning alive. And Gaddis ended up having a sacrifice fly.
Leiter strikes out of Reddick. First out of the top half of the 8th inning.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Josh Reddick chased that splitter away and not too pleased about his approach. Might have been off the plate by about 18 inches. This is a liner into center. Anthony Alford dives and makes a terrific catch. Anthony Alford, there's no question about his athleticism. Getting a chance to play in the outfield, takes a hit away from Martin Maldonado.
Just into the ball game. So you got to make sure you are loose and you want that ball hit to you. You want that thing to show him that you're ready. He is shading it a little bit to the pull side. This ball is slicing the whole time away from him. But with the great speed and athleticism, Anthony picks it right before it hits the ground. What an outstanding play.
Great opportunity for Alford, just coming into the ball game, takes a hit away from Maldonado. 2 outs. Not sure why he went over to the warning track, but he is getting back into his position. Something obviously fell out of the stands and landed on the warning track. So now there are 2 outs. Jake Marisnick into the game as a defensive replacement. He's late on that first pitch fastball.
You know, we know that Anthony's a great athlete, and he played some college football. When Tampa Bay was in town, they had a football throwing it down on the field during batting practice. We said, Anthony, we got to see that arm one time. Guess what? He's pretty good. He had a nice spiral.
Yeah, and he needed some encouragement from his brother-in-law, Jonathan Davis. Says, come on, man, show him.
He didn't want to do it. We were egging him on. Said, come on, man, just what? I want to see what a Division I quarterback looks like up close.
Marisnick hits another fly ball, and this one's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. Marisnick's got some speed. He's around second, headed for third. Here's the throw from Morania, not nearly in time. Jake Marisnick had a double in his only plate appearance in last night's game. Tonight he gets a triple.
Well, he's liking this coming off the bench stuff. Getting your one swing, one kick at the can. Even the speed of Alford's not going to be able to run this one down. This ball, again, slicing away from him. He just got all of it up against the wall. He's going to circle the bases all the way to third base with another triple.
That's his first triple of the season. And he has proven to be a heck of a defensive replacement in this series. He had a double last night. He's got a triple tonight, and he can really run for a big man. He covers a lot of ground quickly. George Springer. Springer is officially 1 for 3. He reached base in the 6th inning on catcher's interference. It is not an at-bat to the hitter, it's an air charge to the catcher. Blue Jays committed 3 errors tonight. And Nervis Solarte, Danny Jansen, and Jonathan Davis have all committed errors. Obviously, big runner at third for Mark Leiter. Want to leave him right there. Jake Marisnick. Downstairs 3-0. Altuve is on deck. Just checking with the bench to make sure that's a splitter. He said that's a split he threw. Getting an update. Okay, now I'm good.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of everything. And you might see the batter swing away here.
And he does.
Yeah. He's got home run power for sure. You don't want that little splitter or that sinker. Give me that old number 1.
Springer with 21 home runs this season. Last year he hit 34, but he's been out with a couple of different injuries this year. 3-1 pitch. Got his fastball.
Leiter will take that ball and split his fingers when he's getting ready. Before he looks for the sign, you can see him dig it into his glove right there, get the grip, so he doesn't have to change. So Altuve's right when he said it was that a splitter. There it is right there.
Interesting grip. Now he goes across those seams. 3-2 pitch. There's the splitter. It's fouled back.
Yeah, nothing to lose after falling behind 3-0 and then getting it 3-2. Nothing to lose. May as well throw it again. Maybe you'll get a strikeout. Pull down on those seams. Hope to get some tumbling action.
Fly ball left field. Bryce Smith Jr. is there. That'll end the inning. Marisnick hits a triple. He's stranded at third. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. Houston has a 4-1 lead. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Cliff Floyd in the Samsung broadcast studio. Strikeout to end the bottom of the 7th inning. He struck out Justin Smoke, the pinch hitter. Now Hector Rondon will come on to try to keep the Blue Jays at bay here in the 8th.
He's had a very interesting season in his 61 games for the Astros. The big right-hander, another one of those flamethrowers, another big arm out of that bullpen. Actually closed for this team earlier this season. He's got 14 saves this year. He was with the Cubs, and he's had a couple of seasons over there when he was with Chicago of 29 saves and 30 saves. He is now in the mix to the back end of the bullpen in front of Osuna. They're just not real sure where he fits, but he's got a big arm.
That is called a ball. That's why Hector Rondon threw his arms out to the side. And look at A.J. Hinch. He said, I can't believe it. I mean, it looked like a strike, first of all. It looked like McKinney bunted at it, secondly. And it's called a ball.
It sure looked like he bunted at it. Pitchcast says it's off the plate.
2-0. Take another look at the first pitch of this at bat.
You judge. Does he make an effort at bunting at that? He sure
Certainly
does.
did. Both arms, he said. He bunted at it with both arms. It was inside, but he certainly looked like he bunted right through it. Bouncing ball towards the second baseman. Gonzalez has it.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Bottom of the 8th inning, 1 out. Houston with a 4-1 lead. Rowdy Tellez, the first baseman, 0 for 3 so far tonight. Rondon, now 30 years old. He's from Venezuela. Began his career, as Pat mentioned, with the Cubs. He's always been a reliever. Tellez late on that 98-mile-an-hour heater.
That's another big arm that they have. And how these pieces are all going to fit when they get into October baseball, I don't know.
Well, you just take the hottest hands. Osuna's going to be the closer. And then Rondon, Presley, you know they're going to be on the team.
But in what, where? Rondon has closed before. They're thinking about maybe as a setup man, but he was handed his 7th blown save on Saturday against the Angels, and they were talking about that. I read an article that AJ's like, we got to get him figured out, and we got to figure out where we want to play him.
But you got to believe Osuna's going to close. Presley's going to be the setup man. Sips a left-handed specialist. Tellez hits it up the middle. That's Bregman, the shortstop, as Tellez is retired. 2 away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, that's really interesting. The Pirates playing the spoiler role. Chris Archer's on the mound for Pittsburgh. And Cubbies, they're scuffling a little bit right now. Mike Montgomery, the lefty's on the mound for Chicago.
So if that stays like that, Cubs lose and Milwaukee wins, it's a half game.
A half game separating the two for the Central Division lead. 97. You're right. There are some big arms down at the back end of this bullpen. Rondon, his average fastball 97.2. That slider in the dirt. Rondon had saves of 29 and 30 in 2014-2015 for the Cubs.
You got different mixtures, experience and youth, all-stars and rookies, different arm angles. I mean, there's just a lot of options that they have to figure out what they're going to do.
How much of it depends on who they might play?
I think that it all depends on who they play. If you've got a right-handed dominant team that you're facing, a right-handed hitting dominant team, maybe you bring these right-handed fireballers.
Well, it's pretty much a done deal that they're going to face Cleveland. Boston will face the wild card winner. Houston will face Cleveland. Breaking ball, foul.
Cleveland's got some experience in really good left-handed hitting. really Lindor and Brantley.
Ramirez, the switch hitter.
Ramirez.
Yonder Alonso. He's had a good year. Yeah, it's interesting how they match up. Well, you can see all the information available to the coaches. Pitching coach, hitting coach, studying those computers. Rondon strikes out Hernandez. He has a clean inning in the 8th. Will go to the 9th. Houston with a 3-run lead. Altuve, Bregman, and Gonzalez. And a Guerrero coming in.
On Sportsnet. Presented by Honda at the Model Clearout event. The real victory lap is the drive home.
The final game of the home schedule tomorrow afternoon. The Astros here to wrap things up for the Blue Jays at home. John Reed Foley will draw the start. He is not scheduled to go many innings tomorrow as they're concerned about his innings limit. It all starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the pregame show with Jamie Campbell. San Gaviglio started this game. Taylor Guerrero, making his 8th appearance, will start the top of the 9th.
He will be the 5th reliever of the night for the Blue Jays. Taylor last work in that Tampa series, 2/3 of an inning. Gave up 3 earned runs on a couple of hits. Former first-round draft pick of Tampa Bay will be facing Houston for the first time this year. This is his 8th appearance in the month of September since they brought him up when rosters expanded.
Jose Altuve takes a strike. Altuve is 0 for 4. Don't say that very often. Average down to 315. Waves that breaking ball. You've never seen Guerrero before. Wasn't sure what that was going to be.
Guerrero's first go round in the big leagues, so this is his first time looking at Houston. First time Houston has a chance to look at him. His fastball's had a lot of movement to it.
And he's got a funky delivery.
Funky. Leans back.
Breaking ball gets away from Jansen. Altuve will be retired on the strikeout. Drive of the game brought to you by the 2018 Honda Odyssey with available Honda Vac. It always bats cleanup.
First inning, Alex Bregman's going to step to the plate against Sam Gaviglio. He came into this game with an 8-game hit streak versus the Blue Jays. Well, make that 9. And in that 9-game hit streak, he's hit 5 home runs and he's driven in 13 runs. That home run in the first inning, the pitching staff trying to make it stand up, is tonight's drive of the game.
Bregman is 2 for 4 on the night. Goes after that first pitch slider. Diaz throws to first, 2 away. So Bregman will finish up 2 for 5. Roberto Osuna loosening up. Osuna picked up the save in last night's game. Marwin Gonzalez is 0 for 3 with a walk. Shows bunt, where he bounces it in there. 2-0. Mentioned Houston's magic number to clinch the West down to 2 at the start of play. If they win this game, it'll be down to 1.
Then they can stick around in the clubhouse if they want and watch the Oakland game tonight. If Oakland loses, they're the Western Division champions.
They will get underway in Seattle a little bit later on. Just a couple of minutes from now, they will start that game.
They are 11-1 in their last 12 road games. How about that? You want a good team? Just check out what their road record is.
Down low, 3-1. The Astros 53-22 on the road. That's the best road record in baseball. A.J. Hinch, he has his team well prepared. Before the start of their batting practice, they take an infield, a modified infield, but everybody on the infield takes ground balls. And A.J. Hinch is hitting them.
Yeah.
The managers out there make sure everybody is involved.
I think it's imperative for teams when they come into this ballpark. There aren't too many AstroTurf fields anymore, just here at Tampa Bay. So you got to get out there and you got to practice. The ball's going to come off the grass a little bit differently. They put the work in. They are prepared.
Three-two pitch. Cut on and miss. Good inning for Taylor Guerrero. A couple of strikeouts. He retires the side in order. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. It's a 4-1 game. A save is on the line. So Roberto Osuna will be announced into this game for the second straight night. An awful lot of people booing and expressing their thoughts about Roberto Osuna, and everybody has their own opinions, obviously. So it's a 4-1 ball game. It'll be Solarte Diaz and Dwight Smith Jr. for the Blue Jays. Osuna last night faced 8-9, 1-2. Richard Orania got a single, but Osuna was able to close out the game as Houston won 5-3.
He's a perfect 10 for 10 in save opportunities. And since being reinstated from that 75-game suspension, that was on August the 4th.
Sip, McHugh, Presley, Rondon, and now Osuna for Houston. Ball one upstairs. Solarte has gone 0 for 3. He had a couple of hits in last night's game. His single in the 5th inning last night snapped at 0 for 16. Ball 2. It was an RBI single for Solarte. It was his first RBI in 19 games.
He was the one who ended the game last night on a pop-up against Roberto. Taken all away, trying to take a strike. Down by 3 runs, you need some base runners.
Two and 1 pitch to Solarte. Ground ball, a little cutter, and Tyler White will step on the bag. One away.
Boy, that one got in on his hand. That sharp cutter right at the end. That's a pitch that Osuna picked up just a couple of years ago. Started using it in those situations, 2-1 fastball situation, and he really got in the kitchen of Solarte.
Aledmus Diaz has reached base all 3 times he's come to the plate. He is 2 for 2 with a walk and goes after the first pitch and drives it to right field, but Springer is there, 2 away. Boy, Diaz is such a different hitter than we saw in the first half of the season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too that he started getting it going and then twisted his ankle. Remember that down in Tampa Bay on the base, and had to go on the disabled list and had to crank it back up again. And he's been swinging a hot bat in the second half.
Blue Jays down to their last hope. Dwight Smith Jr. goes after the first pitch and hits a fly ball to center. Marisnik ranging back, and that's the ball game. Dwight Smith Jr. hit it to the warning track in center. But Osuna picks up his second straight save. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in the ninth.
I think what you're seeing from Houston right now is they are getting ready to play October baseball. The win tonight runs their record to 18-4 in the month of September. They're getting timely hitting. They're getting good defense, great starting pitching, and that bullpen is going to be a force come October.
For the Astros, it's their 100th win of the season. Second straight 100-win season. They win it 4-1. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman.